what you got. Oh, I can't see tomorrow. Gotta live, try to get a little wiggle room, the rest don't stop. Quid pro quo, I need the best y'all got. Trying to make a dollar, flip it like it's vinyl. Trying to make a way. What's it worth to you if the price too high? Quid pro quo, I need the best y'all got. Give me your best. I won't tell you nothing less, cause I'm giving you 100. How you always leaving me with nothing? I'm not impressed. It's gonna take more than this, cause I'm giving you 100. And I don't even know if I can trust you for nothing.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Thursday. How's everybody doing? How's everybody on this beautiful Thursday morning, I think we're August the 3rd today. Um, we are August the 3rd. I should to verify that. Hope everybody's good. Welcome to Thursday, y'all. I am excited. My name is Aaron Dwyer. I am team leader. I'm of the collective brokered by EXP, and also one of the coaches of Drive Reach Game. My wife Christy and I started this some years ago. This thought some years ago, had this thought some years ago, and are in the process of launching this coaching platform because I posted something yesterday on Facebook. The two most important days of your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. And our story is like a lot of people's. When you find your place in a position where you experience a little bit of success, sometimes the end of that road, end of that journey, when you reach that success level, you realize that success wasn't for you, that it was for other people. And so both of us had a heart for other people, had a heart for sharing, had a heart for helping other people get better. So we sort of, through our transition from another real estate company, decided that we wanted to make other people better. So as part of that, in this transition, we started a company called Drive Reach Game, DRG. And DRG is a coaching platform where we just really want to speak to your heart, speak to your mind, help you all physically, mentally, spiritually, and also professionally. Get better every single day. So that's what we do this morning. Every single morning, Monday through Friday. Sometimes we take Wednesdays off. We have a sales meeting on Wednesday, and so we take off Wednesdays to kind of get prepared for the sales meeting. But every morning, 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central, we're up live. I'm up live. I say we because it's a habit. And sometimes she'll come in, she'll parachute in at the end of this, and we just want to get up in the morning and share some things with. It started just with our agents, and how this started, y'all, is we just wanted to get up and remind our agents that they're in the real estate business, and we know how important it is to create strong morning routines, because strong morning routines and getting your day started off in the right posture, in the right heart set, the right mindset, doing things the right way doing that consistently over time, those early mornings usually create good days. And those good days create good, good weeks, then deliver into good months to good years. And before you know it, you've done enough of the small things over and over and over again to make some monumental impact in your life and in your business. That's what we want to do. So this started off just as an effort for Christy and I to speak to our agents, speak to our team, speak some life, speak some love, help them understand that they're in this business to professionals to impact the world around them, and really we just wanted them to clock into their life in the morning. And so we started with a little 10-minute checkup call. We it then grew to be a little bit longer than that, and so now here we are in a new company, new mindset, new groups of people, being exposed to a lot of things that maybe we weren't exposed to previously. So if you're with us this morning and you watch this live, just say good morning. So there's comments down there at the bottom. You just drop a comment in there and say good morning. Some of you just put, probably all of you right now, say good morning, put your name, good morning from wherever, and be interactive with us. Be on the call with us, and open up your heart, open up your mind to what we're going to say, what we're going to talk about, and get your day off to a great start, y'all. Sorry, I'm letting my throat this morning. We obviously have school started back, and there's my lovely bride right there. So she's going to pull herself up a chair. A stool. Right. No,
keep going. You keep going. Don't let it bother you.
We don't really have anybody here yet, so they'll be watching this later when they all wake up. We can't really get anybody to buy into the whole.
Can I just do that?
Sorry, y'all. We don't have anybody here yet. So Christy's here. My wife's here. So we're gonna keep talking. You guys will join us.
So, I kind of like the idea of doing a little give them a minute to get on board kind of thing. Anyways, am I doing the camera?
You sit right there, you really. You don't need to move the light. You don't need to move the light. Light, good. Light's not helping. Light said, baby, stop moving the light. Please.
Good morning, y'all. I'm just a little. Can
you slide over?
Yeah. I can slide over. Man, y'all, I won't say anything about the fact that he has a much more comfortable show than I do. Well, chivalry is dead on this show. I can tell you that much right now. Kind of. Ooh, Lord. Can you make that more warmer? It's so close, such a cool light. Great.
This is what everybody sees right here. This is what everybody sees. That's how you look. See? What do we see?
Turn down just a little more then.
Huh?
Turn down just a little bit more.
Cooper, you gotta stop me. Stop. All right, now the dog's here. So now we're in complete shambles.
Still like way over.
Maybe it has a baby.
Is that the camera?
That's the camera.
Sorry, y'all. This is why I let him run up those mornings. For those of you that have never seen
That's why she didn't show up at 6:20 instead of 6:30. Do a whole adjustments before we get going.
Oh, gracious. So,
I'm
that's so much better. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I wanted to come down here and get on this, but it seems like I was the only. If there's more people, just say good morning if somebody's here. So maybe we just talk. I say we just talk about some stuff because I think that
we'll have an agenda, but go ahead. You talk.
Perfect.
About it.
So so yesterday we had a we met a guy last week. Where were you talking? Tell me what your topic is, and I'll slide into that. Anything close to? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead and start your topic.
Go ahead and do your thing.
Maybe we should start this again like later. You just do your thing. Oh, look, there's one person here. Let's see who's here. or just showed up saying morning. But maybe it's going to be a one-person show. So previously, before we did this, so maybe when somebody's watching it later,
They will watch it later.
okay.
They'll see this train wreck of a beginning of this call. But it's gonna usually when it starts like this, it ends up turning out pretty good. So if y'all can just hang tight and endure this, you're gonna be okay. Because
I wish I could see this cute dog down here. So no, but
I wish that cute dog would go lay down.
I'll go right now. Okay. I
Sorry.
can't see. Oh my gosh, so I can't see what that says. But sorry, y'all blind too. But yesterday we had our regular meeting in Madison, in a Madison office location, and we actually had met a guy last week that we were going to be that's in the mastermind group. Sorry, I guess I need some more coffee. I think, but he's really big in the AI space for real estate, specifically for real estate. He's got an amazing story. You want to talk about tenacity and commitment to breaking the status quo. I mean, seriously, like big time. Look, they came and they left. They were like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that."
Couldn't get him to buy in.
So he offered to pop in and stream him in. So when we realized how that he was actually going to be available to stream in during our meeting, we opened it up and we reached out to a bunch of people. I mean, a bunch of people, and invited them to come in and be part of it. And the guy charges a lot of money for what he provides. After yesterday, I can see why he charges.
That's
holy cow. So we invited him to. So we invited a ton of people. We had 2 for outside show come in, and what that said to me is, overall, even when people know there's a benefit to what you're doing, what you're offering, no strings attached, they still are so scared of getting outside the limiting beliefs, that people have about what something is. And we had a conversation with a guy a couple of days ago that he said, so here's this. He shares with us about his real career and when he was in California, selling tens of millions of dollars a year in luxury real estate, really understanding the luxury market, truly understanding it. And he talked about limiting beliefs holding him back. When someone can acknowledge, so this is what I took away from that. Limiting beliefs, and Aaron's got an agenda right here in front of me, but I can't it's on today, so I can't read what his agenda says. But limiting beliefs don't mean you're being held back by the world's standards. It means that even when you're by the world standards, by everyone else looking in, they would say, man, that dude is successful. I mean, he's got it. Like successful. He's rocking and rolling and selling the big luxury houses and doing all the things. And he still acknowledged he had a limiting belief about the type of company you need to be with, the type of whatever. But even when there's tons of great things going on and everybody's, quote, living the dream, people can still acknowledge that limiting beliefs are holding them back from what they could be. So don't ever measure your standard of success by a number of homes sold, by a dollar amount, because what he recognized was limiting beliefs of you have to be with this kind of a company or this kind of a market if you're doing this type of a thing. He knew that was holding him back. And some people would look at that and go, wow, if he was doing that much, he felt like he was being held back. What could he have done? Because so many times people don't even recognize that limiting beliefs. Would you agree?
I agree with that. So let me. I'm gonna go here because there's 5 things, and I didn't get to do it yesterday. But I'm gonna talk about these 6 things, and I'm just gonna listen. I want you just to write these down. I want to expand on these later because I'm gonna do what we've been doing and talk about the intentionality, the tenacity. I'm gonna talk about this. But this came to me yesterday, and it's too important for me not to share. because it does address this limiting belief. Every one of these, at some point, address our limiting beliefs. So the first one, when you change what you look at, the things you look at change. Now, these are from Dr. Wayne Dyer, right? These are from Dr. Wayne Dyer. So I want you to, if you've never heard of Dr. Wayne Dyer, he is somebody that you look at. Heidi, good morning. Thank you for dynamic duo is a little much, but thank you. We certainly appreciate that. So you need to look at Dr. Wayne Dyer. I know you're on this journey, and I know you opened up the door and you kind of opened this Pandora's box to being the best version of you.
Right.
And when you open up this Pandora's box to being the best version of you, and you start to attract these things to you that are now going to be different. This is one of the things that you need. Dr. Wayne Dyer is somebody to put on your playlist, okay? When you change what you look at, the things you look at change. Number two, there are no justified resentments.
Oh, that's
No justified resentments. A lot of times, our limiting beliefs are contained in our resentments. So there are no justified resentments. What you think is what you become. Now that, Heidi, for you in this journey that you're on, what you think you become. That is the principal central focus of the law of attraction. This theory of this magnetic creativity, that what you think about you become. Okay. As you think, so shall you be.
Yep. As a man thinketh in his heart.
That's the Bible says that. Every religious text, Torah,
Yep.
Quran, Bible, they all say the same thing. As you think, so shall you be.
Yep.
Have a mind, and this is what Christy was talking about yesterday. What we were hoping to expose people to yesterday, but their own limiting beliefs stop most people. It stops them in their tracks.
Yep.
Have a mind open to anything, but attached to nothing.
Correct.
Have a mind open to everything, but attached to nothing.
Right.
When we set up these boundaries, and these limits of what we'll allow ourselves to do, because maybe we think someone else is going to take advantage of us. Maybe because we think we're going to take advantage of someone else. Maybe because we think that there's going to be an implication. There's going to be somebody talking. There's going to be a rumor. There's going to be all the stuff around that, right? If we set ourselves up where our mind isn't open to the possibilities, you missed something like Phil Stringer yesterday.
Right.
You missed something like, literally, we invited 30 people.
Oh,
35.
We probably haven't talked to and I want to stop because I know you're going to go on this, but I want to say something right here where you're at, where that limiting belief, where your mind's open to everything but attached to nothing. Like sometimes, and I believe you've always heard this, you got to have skin in the game. Like you have skin in the game. So this is what I think probably occurred. One of two things: either there was fear associated with that. So what we did last week in Detroit was a room full of no brains. It was a room full of open hearts and open minds.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was,
Yeah.
which is what we are striving for, which was what we literally prayed we would be standing in front of. I mean, that's literally what we have, is just a room full of people that have got their walls down, take their badges off the door, and walk in there. Yeah, take your name tags off the door. It doesn't matter what. I don't care if you're wearing blue and white. I don't care if you're wearing red and black. I don't care if you're wearing blue and orange. I don't care what colors you're wearing. If you'll have an open heart and open mind to what someone is saying, you can grow from it. And so the limiting beliefs are, oh, that person's from this company. I can't grow from that. I can't even listen to what they're saying because I might contract some sort of a incurable disease, right? But I think that the other piece of this, sometimes people think you got to skin in the game. If we're offering something for nothing, what have you ever heard? Nothing in life is free, right? Yeah. I promise you, what we did, what was shared yesterday, for that 1 hour, my brain was smoking.
Oh, it was awful. It's like leaking. I had brain matter leaking out of my ears.
I mean, smoking. And I said to him, there's no way that I could do, because it is like taking a drop of something that's like super high value, and then you go and like, if you ever get like really, really, really good perfume from like Italy or France, and you literally just put a dab of it on your finger and you put it, and you can't do more than that, or you will literally run everybody out of the room when you walk into it. It is that potent, right?
That brings up
or you bring, I don't mean it stinks. I just mean it's so strong. So I have a whole other story about that because my aunt was in the Air Force and she traveled everywhere and she would get, I remember this time she gave me this perfume and she told me, you only need to put a little bit, it was like an oil, like you only need to put a little bit of it. That's all you can put on because if not, you will literally run out of it. But or you get the kind of perfume you got to spray it like 5 sprays all over your body to even be able to smell it, right? That's the intensity.
So many
That's
places.
right. So wait. Yeah, sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. I'm glad that, oh, no, there's 3 people here. Good. So good morning, whoever else is here. Identify yourself.
I think it's Maggie.
Just see Facebook.
Maggie
Okay.
has it.
But okay. So but you couldn't sit there for more than 30 minutes. If you sat with him, I mean, yesterday an hour was super long, but he was trying to cram as much stuff in as he could.
Yeah.
But it was all quality. Like there was no fluff in that 1 hour.
Nope.
I mean,
Nope.
he literally put a 2-day session. He could have spent 2 solid days on what he was talking about that he delivered to us in 1 hour. He is that succinct with what he was sharing that he could have spent 2 days. And I said to him, there's no way I could be. So he's actually got something that he breaks up into 12 weeks, which is much more digestible.
Yeah.
But it was such good content. But I think people think if it's free, like we offered it, we literally just opened up our doors and said, you guys, this is going to be such great content.
Yeah.
We want to offer it for agents. And people, I think because it was free, because there was nothing being charged, they missed out that
I
living
don't know. But I
belief.
don't know if it's because it's free
And I don't know if it is either, but it might be.
or as
because
much.
because I think people think that if they're giving it away for free, it must not be any good. Right.
Or because it's in y'all, we're in the real estate space, right? You guys are in the real estate space. Most people on this call are in the real estate space. You do something around real estate. Realtors specifically, so I'm going to go specifically to realtors. As a profession, we typically operate in this scarcity mentality.
Right.
As a profession, we operate in please don't look at what I'm doing because you're going to get my secrets. You're going to take all my business from me.
Right.
That's the heart of this. That's the heart of this industry.
That's where the heart of it is, unfortunately.
Well, I believe
it's a common theme.
I believe there are companies who don't believe that way.
Right.
And there are companies who don't feel that way, who are open to share, who are open like us, to open your doors up to companies and people who aren't at your company and people who aren't at your brand. And we don't look at it as competition. We don't look at it as you're going to steal our thing. We look at it as if we help you get better, right? We get better.
Right.
If we get better, then you help you get better.
Right.
The rising tide lifts all boats.
Yep.
And that's what we believe. That's why we do this. And there are people that are going to watch this call that don't work for our company, that are in a different, like they're red and black, they're blue and white, they're orange and green.
There's people on here right now.
We have no idea. We really don't care what brand you're with,
Right.
right? We just want to share value. And so I think we had this fear. We had this fear that here's a big one. We might like what we hear.
We might
And if we like what we hear, it's going to challenge our status quo.
Correct.
If we like where we go, it's going to challenge our status quo. And none of us really want our status quo changed or challenged. We want to stay here because change is fearful. There's
I
a
hate
whole
change.
big thing with change. All right. So I have very little time left. But I'm going to talk about this. It's okay. It's all right. It's all good. This is a really important one. So if you're writing these down this morning, this one's a really, really, I've got some more that I want to give you. But I want you to listen to this. Dr. Wayne Dyer says, don't die with your music still in you.
Good.
I'm gonna get, yep, it hit me. What I believe is a core tenet of life is every single one of us, good morning, whoever that is too, we are all built with a song in us. I call it a birthright. I call it a spark. I call it a special thing that we have. We are all born with that inside of us. And our job on this life for however many years, if it's 33 like Jesus, if it's 977 or 967 like Methuselah, I don't care how long you have on this planet, but the time you have on this planet should be spent uncovering that song that you have to sing. Les Brown is another guy that I listen to a lot, a motivational speaker. He says there are more dreams in the graveyard than there are walking around the planet. Because most people die with their dreams still inside them.
That's so good.
I'm going to tell you right now that before we get on this next thing, you need to write this down somewhere. Don't die with your music still in you. You need to uncover your song. You need to go sing your song. You need to let people see what you are, who you are. Our gift is not for us. That's why we do this. That's why I get up at 5:30 in the morning when I'm in Tennessee to get it, or something, 3 something when I'm in Tennessee. That's why I get up early, because I want to give to you Part of my song is helping other people be better. Part of my song, probably the majority of my song, is helping other people find their song, find their spark, be better versions of themselves in this moment than they were before they met me. That's what I believe is one of my walking around reasons to live.
Right.
Right. So don't die with your music, Celine. I'm gonna get this out of the way for Kristen. Stop looking at this because she does have ADD. So
Oh gosh, big time. Woo, Lord.
here's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to continue on this series because we're talking about these things that Vic Keller. And again, if you guys don't know who Vic Keller is, I'm just going to go back. If you've listened to these in the past, I've explained who Vic Keller is. If you don't know who Vic Keller is, you need to have a little bit of. Vic Keller's got some street cred.
He's got some real street cred.
So let me just say that. Yeah. So Vic Keller is in his 40s, late 40s, and he's the first. Let's just say he's been very, very successful.
Yeah, you described him before.
Yeah,
I can look him up.
So,
we can go from
so
there.
Vic Keller
He's a serial entrepreneur. That's what he calls himself.
He's really good at it.
He's super good at it.
So we've been talking about the 4 things that he gave us in Dallas: intentionality, tenacity, situational awareness, and people. And we've been talking through these 4 things. And he's given us points as part of his talk in Dallas. And I want to share these with you because I think if you listen to the 6 things that we just said, then you take these and apply those 6 things to what I'm about to go through here with you this morning in a little bit of time that we have left. We may go over 30 minutes, but y'all were late to get here, so y'all weren't up, so we're going to go a bit later today.
I'm going to leave in about 5 minutes because I got a little guy that's pretty hard, but he's in the shower. But
here you go. Intentionality. Intentionality, and here's how Vic describes it, is think big and act bigger. His intentionality is think big and then act bigger, okay? Intentionality involves, and we're going to talk about today just a little bit, intentionality involves setting clear and specific goals to guide your actions. Clear and specific goals to guide your actions, and I talk about this all the time. If your goal is not specific, if your goal doesn't have an emotional quotient to it, if you don't have a goal that's specific and tied to you emotionally, when the feces hit the oscillator, I'm going to say something else. When the feces hit the oscillator, and it's going to, when people start talking, when people start challenging you, when it doesn't look like you think it ought to look, the step that you think you ought to take, our initial reaction is to say, it's not good, let's quit.
Right.
It's not good, let's stop. Let's go away. And so I use this analogy all the time. When you set yourself up your vacation, when you set up your vacation, and you start thinking about your vacation, and you book your room, you see the pictures, the kids are excited, you talk about it for 6 months, there is an emotional quotient tied to that end destination, which is putting your feet on the beach and having the vacation, right? But when you drive down 75 and there's a 17-car pileup and there's the road, the interstate's backed up for miles and miles and miles, if your emotion is not tied to that destination, you'll turn around and go back home.
Right.
If you really don't want that vacation that bad, you'll turn around and go back home.
Right.
But if that vacation means that much, if you haven't been on vacation in 40 years, if this is not a once every year thing, this is not once or twice a year, this is once every 7 years, and your emotions
are tied to it.
Are tied to that, and you'll endure that traffic jam.
Yeah, nothing's stopping you. And that's where and I do want to jump in here because I did almost wake up like this. It's very close. Very, very close. So I woke up like this. But that drive, your why has to be bigger than your pain. Your why has to be bigger than your discomfort. Your why, you have to look past. So we got a book a while back. It's called Your Future Self. Be Your Future Self Now.
Yeah.
So Lainey took my daughter who's on this call right now. I think she's still on it. But she took it, she was reading it. She said, wow, Mom, this is such a great book. Because it talks about the things that we're doing today and even by the hour, we are literally laying things in place for our future self. Whatever. So sometimes it's not, sometimes it's what's fueling you, right? Sometimes it's what's your passion, your why. When you're pushing through the hard times, and they say, let your why be bigger than the pain or the discomfort. But what about the future why? What about the future whys?
Yeah.
What about the things that you're doing that you know you're doing in place right now, because you do have that end result, that vision, that feeling. And this is something that we learned last week. So every single day, our goal is to dial it in, right? Like we might have a picture of it, but then to really get specific, you want to make that picture a little bit smaller. And then you want to make the picture just a little bit smaller. And you really want to dial it in, as if, like when you're getting an eye exam, the doctor says, is this better or is this better? Is this one better or is this one better, right? When they're trying to get it perfectly dialed in. But sometimes you got to think even bigger than what you're thinking right now and what you think it can be right now. You've got to think of this thing that I'm doing. What is it doing for my future? What is it doing, this decision I'm making, this discomfort that I'm feeling? What's it doing for my future self? Not just my current self, not just the things that I can feel and touch and understand right now, but the things that are 5 years down the road. But if you don't do this now, because this is what experience does give us. It gives us what did it look like 5 years ago, and we know what it feels like today. Does it feel today the way that you wanted it to feel 5 years ago? Like when you were looking, or 5 months ago for that matter. Are you today where you thought or where you wanted and the desire and the feeling that you wanted to be?
That's good.
If you remember what you felt 5 months ago, is that where you're at today?
Yeah.
And if you're not, then push harder, because then that gives you the experience already. But sometimes you've got to be intentional.
Yeah.
You've got to
You have to be
intentionally think about, I'm not here today where I wanted to be. If I was sitting around the same conversation with myself 5 months ago, am I where I thought I would be 5 months ago today? And if you're not, then maybe you didn't push through enough discomfort. And maybe you can look back on your own experience and understand where you're at right now and say, okay, keep pressing forward through the discomfort so that 5 months from now, I'm not having the same conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I
think so.
Somebody comment, tell me if that makes sense what I'm saying.
So instead of months, let's go years. So if I were to sit right here, right? If I were to sit right here and that's current self decisions, right?
Equals future self, exactly.
Future self current decisions equal future consequences. That Laney, that's so good.
Right.
So here's something you can think about today. If you want to do this, right? You asked me this in the elevator in Dallas. Go back and think about your life at 46 for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back and sit down and be quiet and think about my life at 46.
Yeah.
Is my 51-year-old self, or is my 46-year-old self happy with my 51-year-old self? Is my 46-year-old self, if I go back and think what it's going to look like 5 years from now, am I happy where I am right now?
Right. Does it look anything like you thought?
Can I look and make adjustments in those last 5 years, these past 5 years? Can I see where I was good, see where I was bad? Can I make these adjustments so my 56-year-old self, when I look back at my 51-year-old self, I can pat myself on the tail and I go, good job, buddy. You did a hell of a job, right? That's what we want. That's part of don't let your song die in you. Don't let your dreams die inside you. Make those adjustments.
Amy, of course, I can answer that.
Right.
I'm scared to know what her answer would be.
Make those adjustments, right? We make those course corrections. We make those corrections, but we make those corrections in response to our intentionality.
But I want to jump in here and say something. So in that conversation, I had to, my mind went, oh, what did I ask? Because sometimes I might ask him completely inappropriate things in the elevator. So
it happens.
So I'd be careful. I was wondering what he was going to say. I was wondering what he was going to say. No, I'm kidding, kind of. But I asked him, 5 years ago, did you ever imagine it would look like this? His answer was, as a matter of fact, no. Certain aspects, yes. But certain aspects, it's completely, because you're limited. I'm trying to finish that. Yes. But the thing is that sometimes our limiting beliefs affect that future self. So don't let your limiting beliefs, that's why what you say is, be open to what you say. Be open to you put it away because you said I was getting distracted.
Yeah.
Be open to everything. But attached to nothing. So the 5 year ago Aaron, in his wildest dreams, didn't imagine that it would actually look. He had an idea. He had a broad idea of what he felt like it needed to look like. The step that he needed to take to get where he thought his 46-year-old self knew. But again, everything we do is limited by the depth and breadth of our own understanding and our own experiences. So if you've never experienced something, it is very difficult for your current self to even imagine. You can see other people doing it, but sometimes it's real hard for you to anticipate and expect that it can be done for you, right?
Yeah. So my analogy would be at 46, I knew I was going south. I knew I was going to the beach somewhere. I just wasn't sure where. Right. I just knew I was going somewhere. I didn't have a specific intention tied to a specific destination.
Mhm.
I wasn't as intentional as I am at 51 about my destination. I wasn't as clear at 46. That's one of the things I learned in the last 5 years is you've got to be more intentional.
Right.
You've got to set clear and specific goals of exactly what it is you want in every part of your life. I sent Lainey, because she's obviously on here this morning. I sent her a page number in a book that we're both reading right now. I said, you need to read this because there's something that she's going on. There's something going on in her life right now where she needs to set some specific goals, some specific things in place to understand I'm not accepting anything less than this. This is what I want to accept, and anything else is unacceptable.
Right.
And as soon as you figure that out, as soon as you decide I'm going to the beach at this particular resort, and I put my feet on the sand at that beach,
right,
then you're able to endure the traffic jam. You're able to endure the kids screaming in the back of your car. You're able to endure when the dog throws up in the floorboard.
Oh gosh,
you're able to endure all the things that are going to happen as you begin to elevate, as you begin to do the things you're supposed to do, as you begin to grow into your highest and best self. I promise you, this is what God does.
I want to jump in for a second.
Hang on. He is not going to trust you until he can test you.
Right. You're going to be tested until you can be trusted. Yep. We said that last week.
Yeah.
So I want to say this, and just because I like to talk in things.
I got to get her going.
Yeah. I got to talk in things that people can attach to, like that you can actually attach. So I'm going to give an example. So we've gone to some pretty cool places in the last 6 months. Some super, super, super cool places. And I remember one of the places when we're driving, I'm like, man, there's a lot of pretty beaches that we're driving past here. Like, we could just stop right here, right? Like I could stop right here and just find somewhere right here along this little roadway that we're driving right now, and then just prop up right here and be like, oh yeah, I'm content. I'm perfectly happy. Like I am perfectly fine with this. Why do we need to keep driving? Why do we need to keep then going back? Then we got past what looked decent to some pretty rough stuff, right? And then but you know what? We had a guide. We had a guide. We weren't the ones driving the car.
I'm getting there.
We had a guide. Oh, am I infringing on something?
Yep, you're
so, but when are you using this exact same example?
I don't know.
That's kind of weird if you are.
I don't know.
Anyways, when we finally got to where we had set our intention, we had a reservation in our name with our name on it. When we got there and checked in, they were going to be like, welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Dwyer, right? And then we got out there and we saw what was actually there for us, but we had to push through it. We had to keep going. We had to forego good for great. We had to because we didn't know what it was going to be like. We'd never been to this place. It was new for us too. This guy knew how to get us there, but we'd never been there, and we had no idea what. I mean, we just walked around when we got there. Do you remember walking in the lobby?
Oh my gosh!
And going, holy cow!
Yeah.
We walked into our room, and all we did was we said, okay, we got here. We just had a standard booking, right? Just regular room, like to get in that place and just a regular room. We were like, money,
right?
We get there. I'm like, you got any upgrades, do you? I'm always going to ask. The English always know if you don't ask.
That's true.
You know any upgrades, do you? He's like, let me look. Kind of like the guy, like the airline guy in Meet the Fockers, the airline woman. And he says, as a matter of fact, I do. I've upgraded you. And it was that easy. Well, do we owe anything? Nope. All good. We walk in the room, y'all, and I'm like, holy cow. So that's what you got to do. You just got to keep pushing through it. And then when you're there, you don't realize how easy it is to just elevate. Once you get to that level, you have no idea how easy it is to just continue elevating.
That's right.
Once you push through it. I love y'all. I'm going because
go.
the kid's got to get up and he's got to talk and he wants me out of here. He's here a lot. That's why I'm not here a lot.
She should be here earlier.
Completely derail his plans. I love y'all. I'll see y'all later.
But you know what? She's pretty when she does it. So it really doesn't matter. So I'm not going to keep you guys too much longer, but that is a great point. And here's something that here's a little talking point that you need to make a t-shirt or get you a coffee mug that says this: good is the enemy of great. Good is the enemy of great. So many times we accept good instead of going for the great. So many times we accept the good instead of pushing for great. What I said at the very beginning of this, we get so settled on our status quo. We get so settled on just being okay that we will not push to the next level. When the song that we have in our spirit, when the song that we have in our heart, when the birthright that God gave us is here to elevate us to the next level, sometimes we'll just stay. And that's why dreams die. That's why songs don't get sung. That's why music doesn't get written. That's why lives don't get changed. Is because we decide to stay in good instead of pushing for great. So here you go. Which leads me to this one, tenacity. One of the second points that Vic Keller talked about. Vic Keller talked about tenacity. Becoming relentless in your pursuit. If you've ever read the book Relentless by Tim Grover, if you ever read the book Winning by Tim Grover, he talks about people who are relentless. Becoming relentless in your pursuit, having tenacity. I love this. Relentlessly tenacious individuals pursue their goals with unyielding determination. Think about if you could be that person. Think about if you could be this person who is relentlessly tenacious, that you pursued your goals, that intention, that vacation spot, that you relentlessly pursued your goals with unyielding determination. That no matter what people are saying, if your spouse didn't agree with it, because sometimes it happens. Sometimes the closest people in your life are going to be the ones who don't buy into your dreams. Sometimes the closest people to you are the ones who are going to be the biggest naysayers to you taking the next step. And there are a lot of reasons for that. There's a lot of psychology behind that. So I won't share all that with you. But I want you to be relentlessly tenacious. I want you to pursue your goal with unyielding determination. The next we'll talk about is situational awareness. Vic Keller talks about developing a clear sight picture. We talked about the last couple of days, the situational awareness, knowing where you are when you're knowing where you are when you're there, knowing what's around you, where you are. Okay. So today, understand your competition to make informed decisions and stay ahead of the market. Understand your competition, make informed decisions, stay ahead of the market. Again, yesterday, I'll go back to yesterday, when we opened up our doors, when we opened up our building, when we opened up our sales meeting, when we opened up our training to agents from other companies, we want them to understand what's going on. I don't believe we're in a state of competition. I'm so competitive, y'all. When I say I'm competitive, I will put Christy in the wall. When we go ride go-karts, when we go do go-karts in Florida or in Gatlinburg or some indoor karting, I promise y'all, I will put her in the wall. I'll put my kids in the wall. I love to win more than anybody on the planet. I am that competitive. I hate to lose. Lainey Stetson on this call, y'all, if you're ever her Pictionary partner, you better have a strong resolve. You better have thick skin. Lainey Stetson is super competitive. I believe in competition. I believe competition elevates our game. I believe competition pushes us to be better. I believe competition will elevate us. But at the same time, everything that's good, there's a bad quotient. Competition can be bad. Competition can have negative consequences. Competition can also drive you, or you're so focused on the other person, you're so focused on beating somebody else that you fail to realize your own song. Because you get so focused on beating someone else, elevating yourself past someone else, you focus on that person instead of you. So you got to balance your competition with some collaboration, okay? Last one. And Christy mentioned guides. The reason we have guides is because guides tailor advice to your specific needs and circumstances. They consider your individual strengths and weaknesses. Guides tailor advice to your specific needs. You need to find somebody in your life, a coach, right? A coach who you can sit down with, a coach that you're real with, a coach that coaches are cheaper than lawyers, cheaper than divorce attorneys. They're certainly probably sometimes cheaper than counselors or psychologists. But coaches, guides who've been there, done that, can listen to your story, listen to your strengths. They understand your weakness. If you stay in there and commit to that coach for a period of time, and then that coach can tailor a specific plan around your needs, around the circumstances that you're in, okay? And then the coach that can then, If I coach in baseball, I don't put the guy who throws the best curveball and the best slider. I don't put them at shortstop, right? I don't put the player who can go into the hole to his right and catch a backhanded ground ball and throw out of the hole with a lot of strength. I don't put him behind the plate. So a good coach understands his players. He understands the strengths and the weaknesses, and that's a guide in your life. You need to find someone in your life who's been there, done that, who understands your strengths and your weaknesses, who understands where you're headed, where you're going, who understands and can build into you that quotient of tenacity, who understands where you're headed and can help you understand the sight picture, who can help you understand what's going on in your life. And then that guy then develops a plan around your specific strengths and weaknesses so that you can become the highest and best version of yourself, so that you can sing the song that's in your spirit, so that you can write the music that God's giving you to write. That's what a good guide does. We need people. So what I'm going to leave you with today, here's what I'm going to leave you with today. I want to leave you with this. I'm going to go back to this is a good one. Don't die with your song still in you. Don't die with your song still in you. Be intentional about where you're going. Have a clear picture of where you're headed. Never give up. There are going to be haters. Haters are going to hate. Talkers are going to talk. We don't ever talk about people who are lower than us, y'all. If people are talking about you, it's because they're looking up and trying to chase you. And find you a guide, find you a coach, find somebody who can speak life into you. Find somebody who can develop a plan around your specific strengths and weaknesses, who can help you get better. Today, I want you to think about where you were 5 years from now, or 5 years ago. And I want you to evaluate the last 5 years. And I want you to think about where you're headed 5 years from now. I want you to take all the good that you've done, and I want you to make it better. I want the next 5 years to be so much better than the last 5 years, y'all, that people write songs about you. That people they write books about you. They write articles about you. Your name is in the paper. They start to do things. Your friends look at you differently. Your family looks at you differently. You experience things that you've never experienced before. You go on vacations you've never been on. You start flying first class. You start eating at 5-star restaurants. Whatever it is that you want, I want the next 5 years to be better than the last 5 years. But above all that, I want you to be you. I want you to be good. I want you to be great. And I want you to be you. Bye, y'all. We'll see you in the morning. Love you guys. And we'll talk to you soon.